All righty, you are looking at sold out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Arizona Cardinals. And why are the Arizona Cardinals 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Woo. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away, throw in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. But also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free and fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second membership level I got is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. And I thank you so much in advance. Thank you. Then, if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if you're not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Then, finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants of Gridiron. It's a group. And basically, I say this in every video, right? Basically, my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, my Facebook pages. It's all called the same thing. It dumbs it down for a moron like me. That way, I don't got to try to remember what's my page called, what's the group called, it's all called the same thing. The New York Giants, the Gridiron. We just reached 6,200 members in the group, and we're moving along quite well. Basically what it is once I get done going live here, I'll probably spend the next couple hours putting stuff in the group and in the page, which I'll go over in just a minute. I usually try to get 10, 15, 20 things a day in the group. Now that the season's upon us, it's not that too hard to get, a bunch of stuff to put in there, every day, whether it's a video, a picture, a post. I'm sure something's just showing some stats on a ball player, maybe sharing an article, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites, right? And, I put stuff in there, but not only do I put stuff in there, but the members post stuff in here as well, too. So basically, if I'm alive and breathing, right, and I have internet access, there's stuff going in this group darn near almost 365. Right, there's a ton of stuff. And then the second Facebook link takes you to my Facebook page called the New York Giants of Gridiron. It's a page. I'm the administrator in there, so I'm the only one to post anything in there. But it's the same thing. Once I get done going live, I'll put 15, 20 things or so, in there as well. Same thing. It's a video, a post, a picture, maybe something just showing some stats on a ball player, sharing an article maybe. There's a lot of great articles out there from a lot of great writers, Giant writers, maybe something making fun of the Eagles, the Cowboys, which are once again my personal favorites. Right? There's a ton of stuff going in there every day, and I don't commingle with stuff. So basically, whatever I put in the page, I don't put in a group. Whatever I put in a group, I don't put in a page. I just try to keep them separate, right? So if you go to the page, you like it, you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member, darn near almost 365. It's a ton of New York Giants information every day. You won't be disappointed. But however, if you are, I always have my money back guarantee, right? So for those people that go to the page and you like it, and you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member, if you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, all that stuff said and done that way with, well, it's big game. This one's huge. this game, I really feel, I mean, obviously, after this game, there's still 15 games to go, all this stuff and everything. Anything can happen, right? But, if you lose on the road, it's kind of hard, to, when the Giants in 2007, they started off by losing to, the Cowboys, and they lost to the Packers, right? So they start off 0-2, and they wind up turning around and coming back, but they lost to two good teams. Now, obviously they lost to the Cowboys here. The thing is that the Cowboys are a good team now. And it wasn't like it was, 27-20, whatever, 24-17. Right. Sorry, I got to move my foot. Oh, trying to get him my buddy Randy here. It wasn't like it was close. I mean, it was kind of close, and you lost, 7 points or so. Okay, you lost to a good team. We got smoked 40-0. Right. So now this is the get right game. This is the game that gets you back on the trails back on the tracks once again. Right. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying we're going to win, 30-0 or nothing like that. Yeah. But if we lose this one, to possibly the worst team in football, doesn't matter where it's at. Doesn't matter if it's, Giants, Giants are home. Doesn't matter if Cardinals are home, or doesn't matter if it's in the Walmart parking lot. Doesn't matter. We lose this game to the possibly the worst team in football. Whew. One more time for the hearing impaired. Whew. Right. So. You're staring, and of course, then you're staring 0-3 right in the face. I don't know how, unless like 90% of the starting lineup for the 49ers gets injured in their game. I mean, I don't see how you lose 40-0 to the Cowboys at home. Then you go on the road and you lose to the worst team in football, and then on a short week, you're still on the road. Play one of the best teams in football, and the 49ers, they're up there. They're up there, top 5, without question. And expect to beat them, And then they said, then you got the Seahawks, and you got the Bills, and you got the Jets coming up, and then the Dolphins, and so on. Blah, blah, I don't know how you're gonna, save the season. Don't see that happening. So this game here is a big one. If after the first 3 games they go 1-2, you're not happy, because you want to, you expect, 9-7. What's up, Jersey guys? One problem is Dallas is more making plays outside the pocket. He's more accurate throwing on the run, keeping him in the pocket, keeping the offense in front. What's up? What's up? Hey, if you want 1-2, I said you're not happy, because you kind of want to take, the roster's better, so you were kind of hoping to take a next step. Now, whether that was, if so, we're kind of hoping after 3 games to be 2-1. I mean, I think I think you're hitting something really good, right? If you had visions of the Giants being 3-0, especially when you're playing the Cowboys and the 49ers. But you're kind of hoping after 3 games, to be 2-1. Hey, we lose to the Cowboys. All right, we lose to the Willis, but we beat the 49ers on the road, and we beat the Cardinals, so we're 2-1, right? So if you beat the Cowboys at home, you're pounding your chest. All right, we closed the gap at Dallas. We beat the Cardinals, but we lost on the road to the 49ers. Okay, but we're 2-1. All right, But, I mean, once again, you got to play the games. That's why they play the games. Anything can happen, right? So we always got to keep that in mind. But I really think it's really have hard visions of the Giants beating up on the 49ers, So once again, I hope that it's 2-1, but let's get out here at least 1-2, right? Because Seattle didn't look that phenomenal. right? The Bills look beatable, especially if we can get Allen to throw some interceptions and turn the ball over. The Dolphins scored some points, but their defense was not super exceptional except for in that last drive when they sacked Herbert the first 2 times of the game. They sacked him in the final drive. They got him an intentional grounding penalty and all of that. But I mean, it looks like they can have the ball moved on. But have to be at least 1-2. Have to. 17 games left, 16-2. The mistakes will likely be corrected. Well, it's interesting because also you got Johnson, the offensive line coach. Of course, the media is trying to talk to him and everything, and he's like, we look. Well, I'm not sure if he said we corrected the mistakes, but you give him. I think he said we give him the tools to try to correct the mistakes and stuff like that and all and everything. I don't know what tools he's giving them, but he better give them some extra tools when they play the 49ers. And let's not forget about the Cardinals, too. They sacked Howell 6 times. 6 times. Right? The Niners' strength is still a power run, zone blocking concept that plays into the strength. Well, it's good. That's good. But we're going to also have to keep it in, within reach. If we start, getting behind too far, like in the second half or something like that, you're just going to have to. Daniel Jones back in the pocket. Here comes the rush. That's why with this game here, it'd be very, very important, to try to get Saquon going, give him the ball, hopefully maybe he can, maybe break something or whatever. But I think it'd be very, very important to at least get Saquon more involved. They did bring up, of course, now this is no big, huge, I guess, what do you want to call it? Bringing up, there we go, Ximines and Taywan Jones. Now, Jones obviously would be for your pretty much your special teams, right? But, of course, Oshane Ximines is brought up because Azeez Ojulari with the hamstring. Said the Giants on Saturday elevated special teams player Taywan Jones and edge defender Oshane Ximines from the practice squad for Sunday's game against the Cardinals. The elevation of Ximines is clear sign that Azeez Ojulari was injured a hamstring in practice. Oh, my God. On Wednesday, won't play. Ojulari has been listed as doubtful on Friday's injury report. Simply amazing. Ximines, in his 5th season, played in 15 games with 4 starts a season ago. Jones is being elevated for the 2nd consecutive week as the Giants look for a spark for their special teams that we could use. In his 13th season, Jones has spent almost his entire career as a special teams player first and a running back on rare occasions. Yeah, I don't see him getting that in there at all unless somebody really gets banged up big time. I mean, I can't. Yeah, I mean, I'd have a hard time seeing him in the backfield at all. The left tackle, Andrew Thomas, dealing with a hamstring injury, will be a game-time decision as the 0-1 Giants try to bounce back against the lopside. About the, the Cardinals are 0-1 as well, too. Let's see. So, and of course, Ojulari, when healthy, Ojulari is proven to be a stud. Yep. That's the main issue, though. It feels like the stud outside backer is always dealing with something. During his rookie camp, Ojulari appeared in all 17 games, posting 8 sacks, a Giants rookie record. Look what he can do. However, Ojulari was only able to play in 7 games last year due to injury, posting 5 starts. In 2022, Ojulari finished with 14 total tackles, 5.5 sacks. It was a letdown of a year for Ojulari, but Big Blue supporters were hopeful he'd get back on track in 2023. Ojulari was non-existent in Week 1 loss to the Cowboys, which was a downer to start. Now we've got to worry about his health again. We'll find out more on Ojulari in the coming days, but it's unknown if he'll be able to rock against Arizona or not. So it's, oh my goodness. Now here we go. La'el Collins, right? With the rough play of the offensive line and multiple injuries too, could General Manager Joe Schoen bring in a new body to help protect Daniel Jones? Yeah, I don't see that happening. But for the intents and purposes of this article, let's continue. Let's read. A name that is a lot of people have an eye on recently is released Bengals Collins, the right tackle. If Shane picks up the phone and tried to land a 6'4", 320-pounder, he should know that he's not the only one interested. According to insider Jordan Schultz, Collins has heard from around a dozen teams. This makes sense as he's nearing full health after suffering a torn ACL last year. Collins would be a great get for the G-Men at this point of the summer. Well, but there's a long list of organizations interested. Only time will tell if Shane and company are serious about trying to bring him to town. Well, let's see. Up. I know I got something here. Is that it? Nope. Now, I mean, he did pretty good. I mean, 2020 when he was with Dallas, okay. I mean, 2021, he graded out at 80.2 according to Pro Football Focus. 2019, he graded out at 86.4, but he has been dealing with some injuries though. He's had some injury issues here. Let's see here. In August 2020, he was involved in a car accident that caused a neck stinger. He also dealt with hip and groin injuries. On September 7, 2020, Collins was placed on injured reserve. He missed all the season, and undrafted rookie Terrence Steele went on to start 14 games at right tackle in his place. But then, of course, in 2021, he had some issues as well. Collins started the season opener at right tackle, but before being suspended for 5 games for violating the league's substance abuse policy because of multiple missed drug tests and trying to bribe the test collector. So, he knows he's guilty, and he missed multiple tests. Oh, well, that was yesterday. My bad. What's the next test? Oh, okay, yeah, I'll be there for sure, Oh, really? I missed another test? Oh, man. Gee, you serious? Come on. I know you're lying to me. I didn't miss 2 tests, did I? You know why he missed the test? Because he's guilty. Then, of course, he tries to bribe. Is that somebody you want to bring into your organization? Some teams would, because usually what it is Al Davis, just win, baby. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're bribing people because you're doing illegal stuff and all that stuff. We just want to win, baby. Come on in. We'll take you. Some teams would do that. I'm not sure if Joe Schoen wants to bring somebody like that into the organization. And of course, last season, with the Bengals, he signed a 3-year contract. He was placed on a non-football injury list with a back injury at the start of training camp. His back injury lingered throughout the season, forcing him to have designated rest days during midweek practices, which is kind of common practice, right? In Week 16 match against the Patriots, he suffered in the first quarter a torn left ACL and MCL injury that ended his season. On December 30th, he was placed on injury reserve list. So, and of course, Collins was placed on the reserve PUP list to start the 2023 season, and then he was released on September 12th, 2023. But according to here, Collins was let's see here. The Bengals, the Bengals signed him to it looks like a 3-year, $30 million deal. So basically about $10 million a season, which, I mean, if he's healthy, is not, that's a bargain. But they released him earlier in the week. Let's see here. So, I mean, once again, apparently what I'm seeing is that there's, many teams reported, nearly a dozen teams showing interest in offensive tackle Collins. As I said, he performed well, but I'm saying, but I don't know. I mean, is that somebody Shane wants to bring into the organization? It's not a guy that displays that lack of, is that somebody you want to bring in? I mean, once again, I don't, that was on Wikipedia. So I don't have enough time to follow all the stories in the NFL and stuff like that. So that's Wikipedia. I do know that he got suspended, and that I do remember. But I mean, if, so I'm saying, it's not everything, hard to believe, but not everything online is true. Hard to believe, I know. But if that's true on Wikipedia, where he missed multiple tests, I mean, and then of course he's guilty, and so he's like trying to bribe somebody. Yeah, really? Is that something you want to bring in? No. Plus, we don't have the salary cap for it. I mean, obviously you can move stuff around. I guess you bring him in, you sign him for whatever. But we got right, and we got our two tackles. What are you doing with Evan Neal? I'm a little lost here. I mean, I got him here somewhere. Okay. Last year for Cincinnati, he was the right tackle. Let's go to 2021. He didn't play in 2020 because he was out the whole season. Okay. With Dallas, in 2021, he played right tackle, and he played, actually one game, he actually played left, for 4 snaps against Minnesota. He played left tackle, but pretty much right tackle. I mean, he's a right tackle. We got a right tackle. I don't know why these people, it's like, I don't know why, they come up with these stories, hey, pick the phone up and call for Collins, the right tackle. It's like, we got a right tackle, don't we? Didn't we just draft somebody number 7 overall? But I don't know. Neal's struggling out there. He hasn't even played a full season yet. He's 22 years old. He's just a baby, right? He's working on his craft. Is he ever going to be an all-pro? I hope so, but we'll have to wait and see. Is he going to get better? Yeah, I think he'll get better. He certainly seems like he's somebody who's certainly going to work at it, but you got to give him some time. You got to, unfortunately, you got to live and die sometimes with the rookies, and he hasn't even played a full season yet. But I mean, if he's struggling out there, and we bring Collins in, so we're not going to bench Neal. Oh, we're putting you on the bench. No, you're going to probably slide him in the guard, right? Because I can't see benching Neal. We're going to bring Collins in, a guy with that kind of attitude and all and everything, and bench Neal. I mean, you'd probably maybe try to slide Neal into guard. But I mean, if he's struggling out there at tackle and you put him in there guard, I mean, what do you kind of expect there? Yeah, you won't have an edge rusher maybe running around him or nothing, but now he's got to get used to a whole new position. So I mean, bringing somebody in like that right now, I mean, the only thing I could see, would be. Once again, I don't even with his attitude. That's not somebody smart, tough, and dependable. Yeah, that's not him, right? But I'm saying, I mean, if we had a lot of injuries and things were really bad, like Andrew Thomas couldn't play or something like that, I can see maybe entertaining bringing somebody in, like maybe, but I don't even think he's right for the Giants organization. Because Parrott was injured, but apparently he'll be okay. Thomas is going to be like a game time decision. I think that we got a Zudu. Which he can slide out there, tackle as well. He did that last week, so we got tackles for this week. Once again, it's tough because. There's not many good tackles out there. If this guy was didn't make bozo, put the performance enhancing drugs and all that, bribing people and stuff like that, he's a good tackle. There's not many of them out there. However, once again, some organizations just kind of Just when they see his name on the chalkboard, they just draw an X through it. We're good. No, thank you. I mean, some teams would be like calling him on the phone. Oh, we got to win. Well, he tried to bribe. I mean, I'm saying, what kind of message is that sending to your team, right? So I don't see that happening. Somebody will sign him, of course, absolutely. He's too possibly too valuable. I mean, a tackle, on the open market, and he's only $10 million. That's a bargain. That's a big time bargain right there. All right, let's see what do we got here. I saw this article examining Brandon Olson examining the Cardinals offense, which was kind of vanilla. Kind of vanilla. Says after being completely skunked last week by the Cowboys, the Giants will, at least on paper, face an easier opponent in the form of the Arizona Cardinals. This team is transitioning under new head coach Jonathan Gannon, formerly of the defensive coordinator of the Eagles. The Giants need this game in the worst way, as to take an 0-2 record into San Francisco 4 days later would be a recipe for a meltdown. Yep. So the Cardinals, their personnel. So obviously, they got Joshua Dobbs in there. So obviously, Kyler Murray. The Cardinals offense isn't overly impressive on paper. Joshua Dobbs, who has been unimpressive throughout his career, Dobbs isn't awful, but he isn't also starting NFL quality quarterback. I mean, he's been around, I think, since 2017. So this would be his 7th season, I believe it would be. And, if you're, if this is your 7th season and you're not a starting quarterback, there's a reason why. Not that he's unbelievably, absolutely Mike Glennon, right? Because he didn't do, he was 21 out of 30 last week, only 132 yards, a little dink and dunk, whatever he could do. Keep the ball out of harm's way. Don't throw interceptions. Don't lose us the game. If we got a punt, okay. Don't throw interceptions. And that's what he pretty much did. Let's see, because here it says the Cardinals that potentially have 2 high picks in what looks like a loaded 2024 NFL draft. So be interesting to see if with the Cardinals, if Murray comes back and he doesn't look too good. I'm not a big Kyler Murray fan, right? I'm not too crazy about his. He's a hell of an athlete, but I don't really love his attitude, and be interesting to see if they wind up with the one overall pick. Do they take a quarterback? Be very interesting. The running back room in Arizona is still trying to find its footing. Well, I mean, we got James Conner. We know James Conner is the man there. They got Ingram, who had a -4 yards on the day. But I mean, Conner had 62 total yards, I believe it was. Cardinals' offensive line will continue to be an issue all season long as they work with a rookie right tackle and veteran backup quality starters at left guard and center. So the only quality lineman that they have is DJ Humphries and Will Hernandez, right? Who the Giants didn't want to bring back. Because if they had him, they would have one of their guards situated. I mean, not that Will Hernandez a Hall of Famer, not like that, but is he a decent, adequate guard? Yep. Giants drafted him, 2nd round. You take a guy number 34 overall, that's not bad. I mean, Will Hernandez, obviously he's on his 2nd contract right now. It costs some money, but, he would be one of your starting guards. So they allowed 5 pressures on just 15 true pass sets. True pass sets exclude screenplays, play action rollouts, RPOs, and passes under 2 seconds. So they allowed 5 pressures on just 15. So that's 33%. That's not very good. The pass catchers in Arizona are relatively one-dimensional. Marquise Brown, Rondell Moore, speedy receivers who can make plays after the catch but haven't been put in a position to succeed. Now, however, Zach Ertz, Jason Witten, Zach Ertz, the Giant Killers. For some reason, I have not, just absolutely amazing. Ever since Jesus Christ walked the earth. The Giants have never had, we can't get somebody to cover the tight end. It's absolutely amazing. Year in and year out. You look at you open up the paper and you're like, oh, Cowboys beat the Giants. Hey, Jason Witten had 13 receptions against us. Wow. Huh. Oh, okay. Next time we play the Cowboys the same year, next year, Cowboys beat the Giants 2 times. Jason Witten had 12 receptions against us. We can't cover this guy. It's just every game. Jason Witten, 9 receptions. Wow. He must be unbelievable. He must be what? He must run a 3-second 40. I mean, we can't seem to cover the guy. Absolutely. Same thing with Zach Ertz. Simply amazing. Oh, my goodness. But as perhaps the vanilla scheme is most underwhelming part of the Cardinals offense, it's like just try to keep us in the game. Don't lose the game. I'm sure they're going to open it up once Kyler Murray comes back. But with Joshua Dobbs in there, I don't see them, trying to go too hog wild crazy. Let's see, offensive coordinator Drew Petzing is getting his first opportunity as a offensive play caller. I'm unsure if he's just taking some time to open up and become more aggressive, but he hasn't done much to impress. Petzing is a West Coast disciple and has shown it so far, favoring keeping the ball short over the middle, like the Ertz. Zach Ertz had caught 6 passes last week for 21 yards, 3.5 yards of reception. Holy cow. If he catches 8 balls for 30 yards against the Giants, okay, no problem. You can have him, brother. It says against the Commanders last week, 70% of Dobbs' pass attempts went for less than 9 yards past the line of scrimmage and out of his hands in less than 2.25 seconds. 59.9% of his passes were between the numbers as well. So keeping everything short and in the front, right here, right in front. Not looking over there, not looking way down there. Right in front of me, dropping back the pass. My eyes are right here. Here we go, right here. I got the blinders on. I got the horse's blinders on, right? So, and they're going to be out quick. If somebody's open right here, I'm throwing it, getting rid of it. Let's see here. But with pass catchers like Hollywood Brown and more, the Cardinals should be looking more to get the ball to either them down the field or outside the numbers more often. Now, if the Giants can't get a pass rush, right? Now, because Azeez isn't there. If somehow they're able to control Kayvon and Sexy Dex and Leo the Lion and Oshane Ximines, maybe if he can stand in the pocket more, maybe he will be able to open it up down the field. But the Cardinals have so far focused on being a power run game more than anything else, which would be expected given the most of their offensive linemen are large and relatively unathletic. That could change with more draft classes and free agency, but for now, it says this is a power run game and a bad one at that. So what does this mean for the Giants? Well, luckily for defensive coordinator Wink Martindale and the Giants defense, the best way to counter the Cardinals offense perfectly fits the Giants' strengths. Play press man coverage in the secondary with 2 primary purposes, extending pass plays and making sure the short routes are blanketed. Right? Dobbs is a risk-adverse quarterback trying to get the ball out quickly and over the middle of the field to his safety options, Zach Ertz. So the Giants will want to disrupt routes at the line of scrimmage and protect the middle of the field. Martindale loves to call cover 1, obviously, right? Got cover 1 back there. Everybody's up press man coverage, right? And let's see, hopefully Banks can stay on the field the whole time. I'm dying to see him on the field for 60 minutes. Martindale loves to call cover 1 with the linebacker Bobby Okereke as the hole defender. There shouldn't be much of an issue for the Giants to disrupt the short middle while playing press man. It's also possible that for this week, specifically, see Okereke function more in the man coverage to shadow Ertz. Or maybe we get Simmons on him. Simmons is a freak of nature. He's not Micah Parsons, but, the man can run. Oh, that's okay. It says here, get more man coverage to shadow Ertz with Isaiah Simmons or Micah McFadden operating in the underneath zone. So, I mean, I don't know if McFadden can keep with them, but I know McFadden's a lot better in the box going downhill. Isaiah Simmons is probably, is good in space with the speed and quickness. You don't want him getting tangled up with a guard. You don't want him, from listening to like Paul Dottino and all that. You don't want, or the guys from some people talking about with the Cardinals organization. They're talking about you don't want Isaiah Simmons to line him up over a guard or something like, right, and having him go one-on-one with the guard, and the guard like locks on him, it's pretty much over. Right, you need him in space. So his final thoughts: Vanilla Cardinals offense likes talent at key positions along the offensive line and at quarterback. But the Giants, this should be treated as a get-right game where the defense gets to line up and do what they do best: get after the quarterback and play physical coverage in the secondary. Well, I mean, they hopefully, they'll be able to get after the quarterback. I mean, they didn't. They didn't do a phenomenal job of getting after the quarterback last week. I mean, with Dak, he got the ball out quick, right? Very quick, and it might be the same thing here with Dobbs too. He might be trying to get out of his hands quickly too, and they want to run the ball. What we got? Al Davis made that work in Oakland. Very few other teams will take it. Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. I mean, he'd bring in anybody. Oh, yeah. It was just win, baby. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, because a lot of it seems like, it was like some of the other the teams didn't want these players and all. And Al Davis was like, I'll take you. And it was like kind of like they bonded together. It was the land of the misfits, whatever that cartoon was, whatever it was, the Christmas cartoon was. But can't remember if that was. I don't know, whichever one. It was a Christmas one. Land of the Misfit Toys. It was like the Raiders, Land of the Misfits. They had all kinds of guys, had all kinds of problems and issues and stuff like that, but they banded together and they won. And, you start winning and all of that and everything, winning and, they just got closer and closer together. And, they were, obviously quite a few, they had a heck of a teams. Absolutely. Yep. Lyle Alzado. Yep. He was with the Broncos, and then he went to the Browns, and he was in that the 1980 wasn't 81 was born in 1980. He was in that game again at Cleveland. He was on Cleveland when the game was played in Cleveland. It wasn't the championship game. The championship game was against the Chargers the following week, but he was on the Browns when they played the Raiders in that game. There was whatever it was. I don't know. It was a sight through the interception in the end zone. They were down 14-12. They got down like around the 15-yard line, but Cockcroft or whoever their field goal kicker was, I think missed 2 extra points. So I think they were in field goal range. They only needed 3 points. It was like a minute or so left to go in the game, minute and a half to go in the game. So, the conditions were so frozen and frigid and all that. I think they thought that the kicker was going to miss the field goal. So Sipe throws the ball in the end zone and gets picked off. But so Alzado was on the Browns that year. I don't remember exactly if it was he was on the Raiders when they beat when they beat the Redskins in '83. He was on that team for the Raiders, because I remember he at the end of the game he's like looking in the crowd. It must have had some friend. I think he had one of his friends or something. I think. Well, he had a guy who was a friend of his. It was a childhood friend or something like that. Whatever. He was looking up in the crowd, going like this, holding his fist up, because that was when they beat after '83. That's when '83 he was on the Raiders. I don't remember exactly what years, but then actually Alzado, then he started doing the steroids, obviously, and all of that stuff. Then he retired, and then he tried to come back. Like, I can't remember when it was, 86 or 87 or somewhere around. He tried to come back and make it back. I think it might have been on the Raiders, but he was drafted in 1970 or 71 by the Broncos. from Yankton College or Yankton State, wherever Yankton's at. I have no idea. The powerhouse. Yeah, Yankton. But so I mean, he played so long. But I mean, of course, toward the end of his career, he was on steroids. But and then of course, sadly, he died. It was very, very sadly. It was a shame that absolutely horrible. But they play. Yep. A red right 88. Yeah. Well, I mean, because I think they both scored 2 touchdowns. The problem was for the Browns is they missed both their extra points. I can't remember. I was just looking at the game about a month or so ago, whatever it was. I was toward the end of the game. I was watching the interception, but I don't remember. I think he just kicked them off his whatever. So I thought, and obviously the goal, it wasn't a 30-something yard field extra point the way it is now. It's they're lining up at the 2, snapping it back. He's kicking it from the 9. He's got to kick it 19 yards, and he couldn't even kick it straight 2 times. Maybe one might have got blocked. I don't know, but I know at least one of them went wide. So they're figuring, well, we're down around the 15. If he can't make a 19-yard extra point, we're here at the 15. He's got to go back 7 or 15, 18, whatever it was, somewhere. If he's got to try to kick a 35-yard field goal, he can't make a 19. It's like he's going to kick a 35, So they went for it, and it is what it is, And it's just a tough game to throw a football, Shame. Looking for Ozzie Newsome, threw a pick. I can't remember who the guy was in the back of the end zone, but I do remember. I don't remember the guy's name who intercepted it, but apparently he was not very good at catching balls. Whoever the guy was that intercepted the pass, he was not very good at catching the ball. So they were kind of shocked when he actually caught the ball. But I mean, he was covered because whoever it was, I don't know if it was Ozzie Newsome was on the back line, and he just kind of threw it short, and it's tough weather conditions to try to pinpoint a pass back there in the end zone. I mean, he should have, it's either my guy catches it or nobody catches it, but of course he wound up throwing it. He tried to throw it, I guess, a little wide. The guy who caught it intercepted it for the Raiders had to dive for it, made a phenomenal catch in that weather conditions. What a catch. But he should have just tried to maybe threw it up high or, thrown it over. But I mean, it's kind of with his hands and the ball being cold and all that stuff and everything. And I mean, tough weather conditions to try to throw a pass like that. I mean, if the guy was covered, because I don't think that was 3rd or 4th down. I mean, I thought they could have had another play or so, and the clock wasn't running out because I'm sure I think it was at least a minute or so to go in the game. So I mean, he was covered that much, just throw it out of bounds, try to live another play. But he tried to make too perfect of a pass in those weather conditions. He paid for it. Cleveland Municipal Stadium. Oh man. Oh yeah. All right, love stuff like that. Those yeah. Everything's like 80,000 people are there and all that. I mean, that's because then, of course, it would have been. I don't remember who would have hosted if the Browns wind up winning. I don't remember who would have hosted the championship game, if it would have been the Browns or if it would have been the Chargers in 1980. Because if it would have been the Browns, I mean, then the Chargers would have been back-to-back years, right? Because in 1980, if the Chargers, say the Browns won, and say the Browns hosted the championship game, so then the Chargers would have to play in Cleveland, possibly under very frigid conditions. And, of course, the following year, the Chargers, once again, back-to-back championship games, they had to go to Cincinnati, and that was holy crap. Wow. I don't know, it was like 50-something degrees with the wind chill. Dan Fouts couldn't throw a football, couldn't throw nothing. 27-7, the Chargers won. Wow. But Ken Anderson, who's not in the Hall of Fame, I can't say was throwing darts, but he was throwing spirals in the wind and all of that, and they won 27-7. I mean, Dan Fouts, I even think, said something like Kenny Anderson should be in the Hall of Fame just from that one game alone. Kenny Anderson was a very good quarterback. It wasn't his fault that he didn't have the greatest team around him, but it is what it is. Forrest Gregg, yep. It's a bad Dash Bowl. Yep. Oh, yeah, he was the coach. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, then they lost that game. They lost the Super Bowl 26-21 to the 49ers, and that started the dynasty. Dun, 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 dun. Right? That was the first of four for the 49ers in the 80s. I didn't mind it too much. I thought it was pretty cool, but then by the end of the 80s, I was getting sick and tired of watching the 49ers win the Super Bowl. Plus, I like Notre Dame, so Joe Montana won the Super Bowl, so he's from Notre Dame, so I was happy for him. But then, of course, then every year, the 49ers were in there every year, and after a while, I just got sick and tired of them. So by the end of the 80s, I was happy when Leonard Marshall beat the crap out of Montana, knocked him out of the game. Actually, knocked him out the following season, too, I think it was, because he got injured so bad. Oh, yeah, well, I don't know if it was Paul Brown or it was the Bengals, because it was Paul Brown, because somebody made the decision, because I can't remember the moron that they wound up hiring after Paul Brown left. They could have had Bill Walsh, or there's another guy. I don't remember the name of the coach. And I remember it was Paul Brown. I don't remember Paul Brown made the decision, but he didn't go with Walsh. He went with the other guy, and the other guy didn't do too well. And then, of course, he lasted a year or two or whatever. I think that maybe Forrest Gregg came in and became the coach. Is that his name? Tiger Johnson, the guy's name? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Was it Paul Brown? Was he the one that made the decision on who the coach would be? Because I mean, I could see if I could see Walsh wanting to beat him, or maybe not beat Brown, but I mean beating the Bengals. Because I mean, you just think, but I mean, you just think, because Ken Anderson was very accurate. I know one of the years he led the league. I don't know if it was passing yards, but a passing completion. I mean, I know one of those years, I'm almost positive he had at least 60% completion percentage. He was very good, very accurate quarterback. And could you imagine what Walsh could have done with him? I mean, look at Joe Montana. Look what he did with him, right? Joe Montana, a very good quarterback, accurate, all of that and everything. And which, could you imagine? Because that's what he had with Anderson, a very accurate quarterback. Nothing super spectacular. Same thing with Joe Montana. Nothing super spectacular, but he was a winner, and he had very good accuracy. I mean, if Walsh, they kept him on, right, as the coach, I think he might have done some nice things, because I mean, Forrest Gregg is a winner. I mean, he's a winner, but he's not a quarterback guru. You know what I mean? I mean, he'll fire you up. He'll tell you what it means to win, or what it takes to be a winning team, and that. Because Forrest Gregg won 5 with the Packers, and then he also he won one with the Cowboys in 1971 when they beat the Dolphins 24-3 in Super Bowl, whatever Super Bowl that was, 6. So I mean, to go from the 1966 championship game when the Packers beat the Cowboys 34-27, and 1967 the Ice Bowl when they won 21-17, the Packers beat the Cowboys. So the Cowboys couldn't stand the Packers, right? So then all of a sudden in 1971, Forrest Gregg comes walking in into the locker room. Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, looking around. Hey, I'm your new teammate. He didn't start much, I don't think, that year, but Tom Landry wanted him to be there. So I think he only played the one year for him, but he was he was on the Cowboys team. So he won 3 Super Bowls. He won 6 championships. So I mean, Greg, he's a winner. You know what I mean? He can, he knows what it takes. But as I said, was no quarterback guru. I mean, unlike what Walsh could do. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm saying he was born there, but you can imagine if Bill Walsh had that, because maybe he was born in Cincy, but I mean, if Paul Brown's there, you're not telling Paul Brown, all right, Paul, I'm the quarterback. I'm sorry, I'm the offensive coordinator, whatever like that or something. We're going to start. This is what we're going to do, Paul. No, Yes, Paul, can we maybe open it up a little bit? You know what I mean? Paul had his hands on everything. I mean, nothing got, Paul had to check off on everything. I mean, but if Bill Walsh had the keys to the, if he was the coach and he could just start opening things up, he could. Oh yeah. I'm sure Cincinnati would have really would have benefited from Walsh being there. Brown didn't think Walsh had the attitude. No, Mama's wrong again. Well, it is what it is. It is what it is. But he was wrong. He was, I mean, it just goes to show you. I mean, that's, you got Paul Brown, one of the greatest coaches of all time. And then, of course, Walsh being on their staff, being one of the greatest coaches of all time. Right? You got that very wrong. Yeah, you got that right. Very, very wrong. All right, then we got this here. Oh, my goodness. The Giants trying to. All right, here we go. Got some storylines. Cardinals, 5 biggest storylines for week 5. Here we go. John Finelli. This is Giants Wire. First one is trying to avoid an 0-3 start. Now, of course, this is all obviously, of course, everybody's like, well, if we lose this one, of course we're going to be 0-3. Well, obviously not. You have to play the games, but it certainly does not look very good. To go on the road with the week's rest and lose to possibly the worst team in football, and then all of a sudden 4 days later on 4 days rest, go on the road still and play one of the best teams in football and expect to beat them, that's kind of asking a bit much. Once again, crazy things happen. That's why you play the games. But if we lose to the Cardinals, it's not looking like, we're going to be able to beat the 49ers. So they said the Giants got smoked by the Cowboys and now will play 2 games in 5 days out west. Whew. But the good thing about that is after their Thursday night game, they got a long, 10, 11 days off until they got to play the Seahawks. So they got a long rest, which is good, really good. Get the guys healthy or whatever, and rest up against the Seahawks. So that could really benefit the Giants. After the game in Arizona, the Giants will stay out on the West Coast and prepare for the Thursday night against the 49ers. A loss in Arizona could spell trouble, as the Giants will certainly be underdogs against the 49ers. Oh, yeah. Since 1979, only 6 teams who began the season with an 0-3 record have qualified for the postseason. Only 6 teams. Not good. Injuries mounting already. The injury bug has hit the Giants earlier this year. Many players were limited in practice this week. Most will suit up with some exceptions. Azeez Ojulari, Wan'Dale Robinson, of course, game time kind of decision will be Andrew Thomas. In addition, tight end Darren Waller did not put in a full practice week, but he should be good to go. Now, it'll be interesting to see if Andrew Thomas can't go. What do? Are they going to put Parrott in there, or are they going to try to throw Zudu in there at left tackle? That'd be interesting to see. Giants are favored. The odds makers have the Giants favored by 4 points. Ooh. Excuse me. One might want to question the reasoning behind this. The 40-0 drubbing last week is being seen as an aberration. Well, the Giants were 13-4 against the spread last year, and they usually win when they play teams other than Dallas and Philadelphia, or teams with an A-list quarterback. So, and Daniel Jones has had a good record now of bouncing back, playing decently well after the Giants lose. Let's see, Arizona starting backup quarterback Josh Dobbs, this week. And although he's a capable player, he's been with the Cardinals for less than a month. I mean, that's tough. Saquon ready to step up. Oh, yeah. Give the dude the ball. The Giants opened their game against Dallas with a solid drive that went from their 25 to the Dallas 8. Then, of course, Andrew Thomas's false start penalty and the bad snap by Michael Schmitz. John Michael Schmitz forced them to attempt a long field goal, which got blocked and returned for a touchdown. That doesn't change the fact that the Giants were able to move the football early in the game. But they only completed one pass in that drive and went for no yards. So it wasn't like, Daniel Jones dropping back the pass, the Tom Brady bouncing on his feet, bam, pinpoint accurate, bam, passes driving him down the field. That didn't happen. Right. So expect them to do that against Arizona. Expect Saquon to play a major role. Absolutely. Now, of course, then we have the offensive line, the big one here. This unit seems to always make the list of storylines, I guess. The line is not showing any progress. In fact, many are suggesting they were better last year. Once again, it's only 4 games. I'm sorry, it's only 1 game so far. The right side of Mark Lewinsky and Evan Neal have thus far been awful in pass protection. The rest of the line was not much better, and now left tackle Andrew Thomas is questionable to play. Dallas sacked Daniel Jones 7 times and hit him 12 other times. And, of course, they sacked him 9 times, but 2 of them were negated. 2 of the sacks were negated by penalties. His mobility afforded him further punishment. Yep. Oh, yeah. Last week against Washington, the Cardinals racked up 6 sacks. So look out. So, I mean, they're young. They got a lot of young talent. Obviously they're far from a phenomenal team, but they got some guys, and one of the worst things you can do, is keep a young team in a game, because then you give them hope and anything can happen. Of course, you never know obviously what's going to happen one week to the next and all of that. But so they asked the Giants, because the Giants should be pissed off. They should just win like 30-3 and it should be over with. I mean, so asking that might be a bit much, Obviously, at the end of the game, you want them to walk off the field winners, whether it's by 1 point or 10 or 20 points. But, one of those things is the longer you keep the Cardinals in the game, the more you're asking for it. And I said, what happened last week was the Cardinals, their 1 touchdown was, I think, was a strip sack. Guy picked it up, ran it back for a touchdown. So if you can keep a team, in a game and something like that happens, right? I said the Cardinals were winning going into the 4th quarter. I think they were winning 16-10. Obviously they didn't obviously wind up winning. The Commanders came back and won. But, the offensive line is going to be huge. Going to be huge in this one. Can we get Saquon going? Can we keep Daniel Jones standing upright? Can we start using some of our nice shiny little toys that we have? Get Darren Waller involved. Can we get the ball outside to maybe Slayton or Hodgins, or maybe Hyatt? Can we get something deep? Of course, you got Baker back there, so you got to be careful of him. I think I keep hearing anything. He was a 5-time Pro Bowler, so right. So you got to be careful there too. But and then of course, then on defense, try to keep everything in front of you. Make Dobbs beat you, marching him down. Right. Don't give up nothing cheap or anything like that. Obviously, if they're going to play press coverage, okay, keep the guy in front of you. Don't give up nothing long, nothing make Dobbs. If he's going to score a touchdown, God bless you. Make it like a 10, 12, 13 play drive where he has to work his way down the field. Because basically, a lot of times, especially with a quarterback like that, if you make him, get 3 or 4 yards and then another 4 or 5 yards and then another 4 or 5 yards and a first down, and then give him a 6-yard play, then a 2-yard play, then he has to get a 4-yard play first down. Then, to do that consistently all the way down the field is very difficult without something going wrong, because you get 6 yards this and you get a first down, then you get 5 yards and then 4 yards or whatever, and then you get a penalty brings you back. Now you got to get 12 yards or 13 yards on what now you're asking for a bit much. So keep everything in front of you. Make them, if they're going to score, God bless you, but make it a 10, 12, 13 play drive. Try to, obviously make it where Connors doesn't beat you, because, if he can go, he's had a problem with his calf. So even if he does go, he may not be able to go full speed, but try to make it where he doesn't beat you, because he's very good too after contact. He hit contact, he'll pick up some extra yards. So this is going to be a big game for the guys in the middle. Also maybe the edge, try to set the edge, keep everything in the middle, let a Carrick, run back and make some tackles. you know, hopefully for the most part, if nothing crazily goes wrong, unlike last week, I think the Giants should win this one. Of course, I said the Giants should win last week too. I got like 21-20, 21-17, something like that. I don't, and if they want to win a big time, cool. But I'll take a win at this point. So I got the Giants 21-17, and hopefully they wind up even in the record at 1-1. Because if they don't, oh man, if they don't, but thankfully for the Giants, I think that hopefully this will be get right game for them. I think it came at a fantastic time. As I said, even if they lose to the 49ers, if they do lose to the 49ers, can we lose 24-17, 26-20? Can we lose something respectable where you come and flying home? It's like, okay, we're 1-2, but that 49er team is pretty good. We hung with them. So, and now we got 10, 11 days, whatever it is, off to go up against Seattle, who was not super spectacular in their first game against the Rams. So, if we wind up 1-2, maybe we can get right. Maybe Seattle. And if we get 10, 11 days off, maybe we get some guys back healthy and all. And maybe with Seattle, if we can win that, maybe start 2-2, and who maybe knows from there, right? But got to win this game. I always can. I said 21-17, somewhere around that. I think it was over under 39.5, and that might be, that might be. I don't know if either team's going to put up a boatload of points. I hope the Giants do, but we'll have to wait and see. But I got the Giants by like 3 or 4 points, so and I got them at 1-1. So 4:05 tomorrow. Whew. Woo. Yeah. Big time, man. Oh, yeah. You got that right, brother. So 4:05 tomorrow. So, oh, man. So, because I'm so sick and tired of the damn Eagle fans. I'm so sick and tired of the Cowboy fans, especially looking in the Facebook groups and everything. The Eagles think they're like the greatest. Oh, we're 2-0 already, and all. They're so lucky that they won that game. Jefferson doesn't fumble the ball through the end zone. Maybe the Eagles lose that game, and I just can't stand the Cowboy and Eagle fans. I absolutely can't stand them. And it'd be picking on the Giants like they do and everything, rightfully so. But and Steeler fans, they're everywhere too. Oh yeah. All right. Well, I'll be back again tomorrow. We'll review. Hopefully it's another Dallas. It's not another Dallas debacle. Hope it's an Arizona win. So, or a Giant win in Arizona, shall I say? Right. So that wraps it up here. 1 hour and 3 minutes. So I'll see everybody tomorrow night. So everybody spent any time watching me live, thank you. Or if anybody spends any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.